Alright, hello, and welcome to Camel Finance. I'm your boy Camel, and there's a lot of craziness going on. There's a lot of heat in the markets at the moment, but that is beyond the remit of this channel. In this channel, this is me. I'm just chilling, waiting for the cycle low to form. Kind of bored. Every time I see a little move up, I start to get a little bit of FOMO, but then I remember that it's about staying patient, waiting for these cycle lows to form, and that will give me the optimal trade entries. So, whilst everyone else is losing their minds, no one likes a sideways market, everyone gets chopped up, loses their stops. Remember, this is me, chilling, waiting patiently. Let's keep going. Politics, also far beyond the remit of this channel, but this is kind of big news. So, Liz Truss has resigned as Prime Minister. I think her reign was 44 days. So, is reign the right word? I don't know, it doesn't matter. I have no political stance, as I say every time something political comes up. The Bank of England, though, look at this. How do we know how much money to print? I mean, it's funny, but it's not funny. We mostly print money to replace old, worn-out banknotes. That's a lie. But it's also up to demand. No mention of printing money to prop up the bond market. No mention of printing money to save the pension funds that got margin called. No mention of printing money in order to make the debt more serviceable. That debt, by the way, that they can never pay back. And of course, no mention of printing money to make sure that your average Joe stays poor, loses money over time, their bills get more expensive, and they think everyone else is to blame for their increase in energy prices, the cost of living going up. They think corporations are greedy, and that's why the prices go up. The wheels are coming off of this system. This Ponzi scheme is falling apart, and I really think it's time to opt out. It's time to get some Bitcoin. It's time to get some gold, some crypto, some silver. You know the drill. Let's keep going. Bloomberg Intelligence senior commodity strategist has said that Bitcoin supply is declining, demand is rising, and price will rise over time. This is exactly the stance I have taken. This is what I believe as well. Breaking news, the UK Treasury is set to transfer more than 12.4 billion to the Bank of England this fiscal year to cover projected losses in its bond buying program. Again, we're seeing them prop up failing systems with more money. We're seeing more scammery. We're seeing more chicanery. The wheels are coming off of this system. You really better opt out. This is something, I don't know what to make of this. What do you make of this? Let me know in the comments. XRP Ripple has been featured in the Metro in London. They say this is absolutely huge. I just don't really get why. I hold XRP. I've got a trade open for XRP. But what's this? Someone explain this to me. I can't wrap my head around this. I've seen people saying London is ready. There's a swell conference coming up. Is this conducive to XRP price going higher in the short term? Maybe. I hope so, because I am long XRP. We'll get to the charts in a bit. Whilst we're on the subject of XRP, I think it's important to point this out. So XRP made it all the way to $2, and then the SEC attacked Ripple for selling XRP as an unregistered illegal security. So I'm not going to go any more into that, other than to say I have said this before on this channel, and I am saying it again now. I think there's a big risk that people aren't pricing in for Ethereum, and that risk is that the SEC could do the exact same thing to the Ethereum token. Now, when the SEC did this to Ripple, the price of the token went from around $2 a coin to 20 cents a coin. It lost 90% of its value when the SEC sued Ripple. So if we were to see a repeat, and the SEC was to come after Ethereum's token and sue the Ethereum Foundation and Consensus and whoever else is involved in this, if that was to be the case and they were going to go after the Ethereum Foundation and Ethereum was to lose 90% of its value, it would be trading somewhere in the neighborhood of $100 to $200 a coin. If, of course, and it is a big if, it was to repeat the same pattern that happened when the SEC sued Ripple. So if this happens, I will not be surprised. I have warned about this several times on this channel. If you've been watching all of the videos, then you'll be well aware of that. So I'm not saying it will happen, but you can watch this video in your own time. It certainly seems like they are priming the public for the SEC and Gary Gensler to come after the Ethereum token. The $9 billion European bank N26 will launch Bitcoin trading to its millions of clients, according to CNBC. So this is continued adoption, and we continue to see continued adoption. This snowball is just getting started. The momentum is building. I am sure we are going to see a bull run unlike any other bull run. And I think it's going to catch a lot of people off, because I think it's going to peak much sooner than people thought. Let's keep going. The number of addresses holding over 0.01 Bitcoin has just hit a new all-time high, so people are stepping in and accumulating more and more Bitcoin. I wanted to point this out. This is just an interesting thought experiment. Don't read too much into this. Complete tinfoil hat thought. What if the bot spam is a DDoS attack, it's a distributed denial of service attack, on Bitcoiners attempting to prevent ideas from spreading and or productive conversations from taking place? I just did a test tweet and got 70 bot replies in 1 minute. So what if all of these bots in the YouTube comment section that are apparently unstoppable, what if all of these bots in the Twitter conversations that are apparently unstoppable are designed to get in the way of new people coming into the space and asking legitimate questions and having the legitimate questions answered? What if that is what we're seeing? What if they want people to come in and try to learn and then get sideswiped by these bots and scammed by these bots and turn away, as opposed to being able to actually interact with experts in the field? Plan B comes out, of course, Plan B being the author of the stock to flow model, comes back and says this is 100% certain the case. It's a DDoS attack. They identify the Bitcoin community as a center of gravity and are ferociously attacking it. My account is virtually unusable, so he closed the comments. Mission accomplished. So just some food for thought. Enjoy that one. Whilst we're on this theme of food for thought, I'd love to know your opinions on this if you've got any. I'm not entirely sure what to make of this. I think this is potentially not as bad as they're making out. Bitcoin hash rate is going vertical while the price is low and the energy costs are high. He's starting to suspect this might be a big deal. He says, paging mining experts, could this be a nation state with cheap energy making a strategic move to either mine Bitcoin or attack the network? And scrolling through the comments, you'll see a whole heap of different ideas. Some of these range from places like China and Russia building hash rate for themselves so that they can start to price their commodities like oil in Bitcoin and move away from the dollar. Some of them think that they are possibly planning to attack the Bitcoin network. I would say the likelihood is that possibly we are going to see Russia and China start to price the commodities like oil in Bitcoin and accept Bitcoin for their trade. And why can I say that with confidence? Well, because they've already come out in the news and told us that was going to happen. Do I think anyone's going to attack the Bitcoin network? No, I don't. I think there's way too much hash rate. If you're going to spend that much money on producing your own ASICs, and if you're going to spend that much money building a mining farm, and also these ASIC rigs, there's a huge supply, there's huge demand for them and not enough supply. So it's not like you can just print a bunch of money and then go and buy these. They take a long time to get hold of. They take a long time to install and set up. By the time you've gone through that, you're only going to get block dominance for, I don't know, 1, 2, 3 blocks if you're lucky. So that's 10 to 30 minutes of block dominance you're going to get before the pools detect the malicious attack and they reroute the network around you. There's no chance that you would spend $1 billion+ to attack the Bitcoin network only to get block dominance for a maximum of half an hour and more likely 10 minutes. There's just no way you would do it. It doesn't make sense. The Bitcoin system has been geniusly designed so that if you were going to spend all that money, you would be far more profitable to use that hash rate to mine profitably. So is that what we're seeing? Possibly. I don't think the network's going to be attacked. I'm fairly confident of that. It's also quite possibly, and I think this is much more likely than these first two ideas, I think it's quite possible that we've seen the new generation of miners coming out, a new generation of ASICs, and they're a lot more efficient. So it's quite possible that that's what we're seeing. It's also possible that an increase in demand because of the inflationary background, because of the macro backdrop, is causing more people to start to tend towards Bitcoin. It's possible that we're just starting the next slope of the sigmoid adoption curve, the S-curve adoption model. It's more likely that that's what we're seeing. And of course, there is the old adage of price follows hash. When the hash rate starts to skyrocket, we would think usually that precedes the Bitcoin price start to skyrocket. And given where we are with the cycle count and coming into the 4-year cycle low, I would say that it's quite possible price is about to follow hash rate. 91.35% of the Bitcoin that will ever be mined has already been mined. So let's stop here and ask a question. What percentage of the fiat currency that will ever be printed has already been printed? I want to also point out that between the pandemic and today, they printed 80% of the total amount of dollars that has ever existed in something like an 18 or 24 month window. I think it was closer to 18 months, say 24 months conservatively. 2 years or less, they printed 80% of every dollar to have ever existed. And let's be honest, everybody knows by now, they're no way close to being done. The Bank of England is printing in the middle of a hiking cycle. Bank of Korea has pivoted. You've seen Germany step up and increase the printing. Japan is defending its currency and performing yield curve control. It's only a matter of time before the ECB and the Fed are doing this as well. What percentage of fiat currency that will ever be printed has already been printed? Unfortunately, the answer is quite a small amount. They are likely going to double and double and double the supply over this decade. There's no other way around this. There's no other way to service the debt. And it's because of this, remember, that Bitcoin has no top. Bitcoin has no top because fiat has no bottom. So here is an Amazon fractal from, as you can see, 99 to 2002. You can see this, that we've made this sort of double top, come down, one flip to green, two flip to green, and then we go. And what does Bitcoin look like today? Double top, one flip to green, two flip to green, about to hit that cycle low and then come out of here. Is this what we're about to see repeat? Are we about to see Bitcoin do exactly what Amazon did right here? I think so. Here we have a list of sustainable energy usage for Bitcoin by country. So you can see this, and this gives Bitcoin a total of around 60% sustainable energy. I am so happy to see the truth come out about Bitcoin and its impact on the environment. I'm so happy to be seeing this idea of proof of work being bad for the environment slowly being dispelled as nonsense. Some people have been championing this idea that proof of work is bad for the environment as nonsense forever. However, the majority of people have been severely uneducated and ill-informed on this. But as time goes on, truth always prevails, and here we are moving towards a point in time where it's becoming unreasonable to deny the truth. And the truth is, of course, that Bitcoin is not bad for the environment. It uses clean, sustainable energy. Over time, it will trend to carbon negative, something that can never be achieved with proof of stake mechanisms. I think it is well worth the spend of sustainable energy and the drive towards renewable sources. Bearishness has spread like flu. Amongst me being all bullish all the way through this and all the way through the week and telling us that we're going to get to those cycle lows and then things are going to start to change pretty rapidly, at least that has been my expectation, bearishness continues to spread like flu. The bull ratio, 50 period moving average, is officially at its lowest level ever. There are no bulls left. The bulls are dead. Okay, there are no bulls left. I was saying this a couple of episodes ago, that when I look at the polls and the surveys, they are in the 80% bearish range. I've never seen a divide 80-20 in my entire career. You know, normally we're talking 65-70. We say, wow, this is a really skewed market. But we're seeing 80s and north of 80s for the bears. The market is too bearish. There's no chance, in my opinion, all of these bears are going to end up getting rich from a downside crash. Look at the dollar go. Dollar continues to chop around into these cycle lows at the end of the month. We know we have got more chop likely to come. We are getting incredibly close now. Today's session, once we close, will be only 5 to 6 sessions before we can expect a cycle low to form. I know this cycle low is going to form very, very soon. In fact, any sort of drawdown and a swing low pattern is going to be time for me to start paying attention. I've been being incredibly patient for weeks now, waiting for this cycle low to come into focus. It is now, at long last, finally in focus. I think we could see this start to bottom very, very soon. We're just looking for the price to do what we expect, which is some form of drop into a swing inside of that timing band, and then I think we can confidently start to look for much higher levels. The same is, of course, true of the Nasdaq, still being kept down underneath this resistance line. A couple of false dawns still underneath here. I think that will continue. Take a look at the Dow, because the Dow led on the downside, remember. When we got to these levels down here, the Dow was the first to take out its low. The S&P and the Nasdaq lagged. They took a little while before they swept their low from June back here. And the Dow is now the first to apparently be staging some sort of recovery. It's the first to have broken out. The S&P and the Nasdaq, like I said, lagged on the downside, now lagging on the upside. I still think a little bit more time is needed. But when I say that, I'm talking potentially as little as 4 sessions. UKX, this is exactly what I wanted to see, a third dive down. We have moved the trend line over for now, so it seems to be respecting this. 1 touch, 2 touch. Let's see if we can come down here and crack this trend line. I will put this here. I think that at the end of the month, this is going to be longable as well, along with the S&P as we got here. I think this is probably going to come at a lower level. Make sure you're subscribed if you want to see how I enter these trades in real time, by the way. Here's Coinbase. We know the score. Look how close we are now. So after today's session, we're only 11 trading sessions. Obviously, this excludes the weekend. So we're only 11 trading sessions, about 2 weeks away from being able to confidently say that we are in the timing band for a cycle low for Bitcoin. Therefore, it is almost time to start scaling into Coinbase, MicroStrategy, Riot Blockchain, and Marathon. Patience will surely be rewarded. I'm convinced of that. Here's Tesla again. right into resistance, rejection. Again, the cycle low is telling us to continue to be patient. We know that we're almost there, but not quite. This is likely going to come from here. So that remains to be seen. A little bit more patience will surely be rewarded. Apple, again, a couple of false dawns, still not above this trend line, still likely, I think, going to be dropping down into earnings at the end of the month, right where we'd expect this cycle low to come. And then we should be looking for breakout, retest, resumption all day long. Gold, still holding a gold short, so that's great. We should still expect really some more downside before we can get a daily cycle low, and then that weekly cycle low could even end up coming another cycle beyond that towards into December. So plenty of downside room here in my opinion. Holding shorts for the moment, and I will continue to push that short. Bitcoin getting close now, aren't we? Look at this. I think we're only about 15 sessions away from when we could start to expect a cycle low to form. So getting there. Patience is again, I'm sure, going to be rewarded. Looking now to get another week and a half out, and then we can start to expect this cycle low to form. So we'll be keeping a keen eye on looking for a swing to form like this. Here's Ethereum. So similarly for Bitcoin as for Ethereum, we know that we are likely going to waddle around here and drop down into this cycle low. If we can get a good swing in the right timing band, then this is a long. But remember, as I said earlier with the SEC, if the SEC are going to come after this coin, then expect a 90% decline from these levels, which would bring us to around $100. So at least that's what happened with XRP and Ripple. Will it happen with Ethereum? It remains to be seen, right? But I don't expect the SEC suing Ethereum to result in upside momentum personally. Let me know in the comments if you disagree with that. Here's XRP. Looks like it wants to actually retest this line. It missed it earlier. It missed it on the first time. So is that what we're going to see? A bounce off of here? I think that would be better than just shooting straight up, because then eventually we probably would have to come back and retest this top of this consolidation part. So for now, long and strong, continue to push. I've consistently said that above this line, I have no problem. It's when we get below this line, if we were to get below this line, that I start to have issues holding this. But for me, that's okay, because that is still a 22% trade. So no problem taking the profit there. And obviously, if we can push up higher than that, that would be great. It's important in trading to push your trades, okay? Taking profit early. No one ever went broke taking profit. That's kind of true, but no one ever got rich either, okay? You must push your trades. You must see what you can get. This one trade here, if it makes it all the way up to $1, $1.50, I'm not saying it will, but if it does, then that will outperform a whole dozen of these trades where we end up just taking 20% profit each time. 20%, 20%, 20%, you know, just let it do its thing. Push the trade, get all you can out of the market. There's no reason to be closing this trade at this moment in time. MATIC was working on a retest. Looks like it's going to come back below. So we'll see how that works out. Zcash, not much to say about Zcash. Maybe when we get towards the 6th or 7th of November, put a little vertical line here for you. Maybe that is where we can stash some Zcash away for in case we should ever need it. And lastly, the chart of truth, the 10-year yield. Look at this. Can you say bankrupt? The USA is completely insolvent. In fact, I've got a video called The USA is Insolvent where I do the maths on this, and you can see how insolvent they are down at these 3 to 3.5% levels. So given that we're a whole percent above that, you can extrapolate that for yourself. If you haven't seen that, go and watch that video. I break down the maths quite easily, and you can see just how bankrupt and insolvent the USA is as a result of these bond prices. If you found value here today, I'd appreciate it if you could drop a like on the channel. Subscribe if you're not already. Thank you for all the support I get. I really appreciate all the comments, the messages on Twitter, that sort of thing. Thank you for getting me to 300 subscribers. This has been a really fun and exciting journey for me. I know that we are getting close now. So remember, Sleepy Camel, where is it? Here I am. This is how you get alpha and dominance over the market. This is how you get an edge over the market. Take your time, load your setups, and then we lean in and make sure we're there to capture the bulk of the move. In the meantime, take care from me. All the best. Enjoy your weekend. Cheers. Bye.